this is a newer one. I don't know if anyone has ever like bungee jumped, but for me the experience was such that I was down there looking up and I was like, oh yeah, no big deal, I got this. And then you actually stand up there and you look at an 160-foot drop and like the whole city below you, and for me I was like, oh my god. So this one is titled Bungee Jumping. Before the woman leaps off the 160-foot platform, she sees the tear-colored ghost of her body. Beneath her feet, far below her, a man watches. He has gracefully hauled her sweaty backpack weighed down with novels and heavy crocheted dresses bought for her by the man before him. He has come this far, but will not go higher, despite her brief begging. He puts a bandana over his eyes, either to shield from the heat or pretend he's not afraid to watch. She calls down for him to jump, but he won't. Whether he's too wise or weak remains to be seen. Whether she is careless or fearless is beside the point. The point is this. From that height, it's so bright, she can see the city below her toes, so now she's back in her body. That is my body, mine and mine alone. Now I am back, looking down at you, back to that time of perfect paralysis. It doesn't matter what sadness happened from there, how your pool exerted too much gravity, how I wanted you to ascend to greater heights. That's also how you and I were perfect. When it came time to jump alone, the distance between us had become natural as air, but sad as a last breath. So I took a breath, and I begged the assistant behind me, just push me, push me, push. I wanted a woman in a headdress glossy as a gossamer to wrap her lithe limbs around me. I wanted to be strewn in lights, smell her powdery perfume. Instead, I'm a squat box, crouched behind the counter, noticed only if someone robs me. I'm touched all day, but never caressed. Listen. Some more gold tokens spew from slots. I want to drink space alien dyed martinis on black leather sectional couches. Watch tipsy women with acid washed jeans and teased hair dreamily press their faces against slot machines, while people treat currency carelessly as spit in the wind. I'm everywhere you look, ubiquitous and ignored. I'm the container of your dreams that tossed away my own. I've kept my clean, sleek lines, but you never say a thing. Feed me with the only love we know. So, let's see. Next to me, a woman trained her terrified gaze, clasped her hands, and chanted, and just like that, I knew she must know the inevitable truth that we're all going to die. So, to praise this life as ephemeral, that one more dip could take us all out. We can learn about living from the dying. Right now on land, my friend has a shadow on his lungs, a dark blip on the radar screen that appeared after 2 years of cancer and remission, and the doctors are trying to put him back on course. Chemo, radiation, and he's trying to keep his arms out stiffly to remain aloft as this nimbus migrates through his chest. And I do not want to stand by and watch this perfectly good human life led by this perfectly good human steadily plummet to the ground, or flame gracefully into the ocean, or clumsily taxi to a halt. I do not want to be the fool who prays for him to recover any more than listen to the buzz saw, the thud of plywood splitting off, the sound when half of my heart breaks away from the other, when he tells me he can no longer mount his Harley that chugged and sputtered like a stoked red dragon. He can only sit in his garage and run his numb fingers against the cool chrome he cannot feel. I do not want to be the fool, suspended in midair with him, between life and death, feeling relief when he says, I'm going to say what I want. I could be dead in a year. I can only white-knuckle the armrest, praying he will land safely in a light-filled, deciduous knoll where the trees part like saplings to make way for one more life that will not be replaced by dust, squalling infants, by the salt of my useless tears. I have to watch this crone called gravity tear at him with knobby knuckles. I have to see what comes, the slow chugging, the terrifying halt, what I hope is the soul soaring above the cumulus. I don't want to believe he's my mentor instructing me on how to live. Instead, I'll recall the pot we smoked, the caramelized apple pie we shared with fierce intensity. The way I gripped his arm, refusing to dig out my fingers, hoping the tiny half-moons would light his way on this dark ride, while the air around us grows thinner and thinner. I feel like time